Now it is.
Cold open. Brandon, you obviously have not listened to this. Because you would never say, cut it short.
Yeah, he is woefully ignorant about the education that we give the population at this time.
I did.
Welcome to Brandon Connors.
I did listen to that the episode about. I wasn't here for it, but you were all talking about ham. Like, when has ham ever been S tier?
I mean, that's a perfect review. Whoever wasn't here reviewing the last episode when they weren't here.
I mean, I came in, like, I think 5 minutes later, you're like, my Ring doorbell's going off. It's either Tyler or someone's robbing us.
I thought we were all here for that, but yeah.
Well,
yeah, but sorry, my bad.
No big deal. I mean,
open it up.
Anyway, so this is Failing with Style episode. So we called the first 1 Failing with Style episode 3 or 2, depending on your nomenclature. And this is David, last name unknown, Diffie Dave, if you will. I'm joined by
I'm Alex, last name redacted.
And Tyler.
All right,
last name redacted.
So Tim, the beautiful velvet voice of Tim, is not joining us this time, and reasons redacted as well. This podcast sucks.
He's got some family stuff going on.
Got some family stuff.
Obligation.
Well, that wicked DWI he just got. Like,
I thought that got dropped.
No, I got another one. Same night.
Oh, okay.
Same day, leaving court.
You know what? You hope for a crooked cop.
No. They were like, sir.
Twice in a day.
Like, sir, you know what? You need a break. And it was the only break he's had in about 20 years.
Was he on the lawnmower again?
No, he's walking.
Oh.
Drunk while...
diving while
instigating.
Dude, yeah. Also, this is legal advice, so please.
Yeah.
You can sue me. Do it. I
Dial
dare you.
1-800-911, and if you scream loud enough, it actually goes to our podcast voicemail, and we'll get that call.
So the funny thing, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but the funny thing is, the idea for a podcast is you come up with topics, and there's some inside baseball for our 2 listeners in Colorado. Is the topics that we came up with were, we wanted to get Tim's input on these topics, so now it's just the freestyle version of the podcast, which is just great. Like, anytime Tim's not here, I feel like he's kind of like the daddy of the podcast. The cat's away kind of thing. But
I keep
you're doing fine.
Well, it's also anytime we talk to where it's like, hey, topics, I talk with Tim separately. He's like, man, I got nothing. And then day of, he's like, manuscript.
Oh, right.
Every time I'm like,
you ever heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls? This is longer, son.
I'm like,
I don't think those are that long.
All together?
Nate, look that up.
Thanks. Guest of the show, Nate.
I can't wait to actually... I think we never tell Nate about this.
I already have.
Okay, so hopefully... So he obviously hasn't listened. Hopefully by the time he listens... He'll be like, yo... And when Nate in real time finds out that we're asking Nate to be our fact checker, then I think we got to bring him on.
I am going to talk about Ghost of Tsushima, and because we can revisit this topic.
Yeah, I think
he actually has my copy. I think
no, because I just got a PS5.
It's I had it on PS4.
Oh, maybe I do.
I'm pretty sure you have my copy. You can play that on your PS5. It's also free to download.
Not free.
Yeah, it is.
It's definitely not.
It was.
We'll never know.
Anyway,
so. The PS4, the PlayStation, at that point exclusive? Is it still exclusive to the PlayStation?
Yeah, the director's cut.
Okay.
It's one of the games included when you I think it's not when you, it's when you purchase the lowest tier of PlayStation Plus.
So
the highest tier can't get it.
Real quick, before you bring up the topic and then go into it.
Yeah.
Can you talk about, well, actually, I think either Tyler or myself talk about what we think of it briefly, and then where Tim is in said game.
Like, we talk about what do you mean?
No.
I think, we voice our opinions on the game, and then you give your review on it.
For instance,
that makes perfect sense.
If from context clues, if you haven't gathered, I have not played this game. I'm aware of it. It's something that I think looks awesome. I think, I've seen some of the cinematics, I've seen some of the gameplay, but I've actually never sat down and played it myself.
We're doing the topical Ghost of Tsushima, the PlayStation 4. Came out in 2020.
What?
It is a feudal Japan in the 15th or 16th century, an open world experience, and you play as Jin Sakai, a man named that. But the thing is, like, you would think
I'm proud that you nailed the name.
Honestly, it sounded like you were reading.
I would not. As you can see, my hands are clear.
He's not.
It's a gun.
I would know. I would know even less if I could skip the cutscenes. Which you cannot.
Nope.
But no, carry on.
So yeah, that's the game also has a feature in it, Kurosawa mode. Is that correct? Where it's
black. It's black and white, but it's grained and like an old 50s samurai film.
All Japanese, right?
Correct.
So it's voiced. The entire game is voiced in Japanese and in English.
Yes, by the same voice actors.
Got it. So what's your opinion of it?
I love it. It is one of the I guess quote unquote modern era of games. It is one of my favorite games. I've played through it 3 times.
Oof.
I did the.
How long is it?
It's also one of those games you don't have to do side quests and stuff.
Right.
Story
mode is.
Story mode's probably 40, 50 hours, give or take.
Geez.
Maybe a little less than that. I mean, I don't know because I've never just.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it says.
Okay, we're
40 to 50 hours.
Just because I've never. I one time when I played it in color in English, I just was just burnt, graveling through it. But
I do appreciate a long game.
I do too. I mean, but it's also, of course, any open world game that basically how Red Dead is, anything like that. There's a bunch of nonsense side quest missions that you don't want to do, but you can get things like in Ghost, you get steel, so you can make your katana stronger, but you only get so much. You can, I believe, use it for your katana or for your short sword. Which you do your assassination kills with. I love it. It's a great game. It's beautiful. The soundtrack's amazing. The little touches they add, just like if you're riding through a field of wheat, like Jen, like on a horse, Jen will lean down and he'll just put his hand on the wheat. I love the waypoint system in it, to where it doesn't show you an arrow. If you put something on your mini map, when you go to check it, the wind blows. And you follow where the wind is blowing, and that goes to your waypoint. The little things of the songbirds and the foxes, finding the temples to pray at, the areas to write haikus. It's a great game. It's phenomenal. It does have that little repetitive tendency that Far Cry has, to where it's just take an outpost, take an outpost, take an outpost. And you're like, okay, Ghost, you can do it a little different just because you can do a standoff because you're a samurai, is what it is. So before you even start, you can stand off to where you call out everyone in there, and then you just go toe to toe.
With every one of them?
You start with a duel, like the first person, like a quick draw almost. Like they charge at you, and then you cut them down. Once you level up, you can kill one guy and then quick kill 4 others. But yeah, everyone will start charging out for the most part. Or you can go ghost mode and just go in and start sneaking and killing people with poison darts and daggers and, stabbing them. And even how you upgrade your short sword. When it's the lowest, you can still insta-kill people. You stab them in the neck and then, take out their legs and take them to the ground, hold their mouth. And, it's a long process. And then once you get it fully upgraded, you basically walk up, just go, and then just go down. So that's cool, but... It's a beautiful game.
And Tim just platinum?
Which takes probably 90 hours.
What does that mean?
Everything, including the DLC. All achievements, everything.
Damn.
He did all the haikus. He found all the clothing, all the bandanas.
55 hours in the game.
Jeez.
I would imagine close to 100 for a plat for that.
Yeah, because, there were days that I'd see him online for 6 hours. Very rarely. It was mostly he'd get on at 6 p.m. and then be midnight, but still.
Yeah.
On you.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Have you finished it?
No, I have not finished it. I just beat the DLC before you guys came over, and I just entered what?
You did the DLC before you did the main quest?
Absolutely, I did. Because like usually the DLC is going to be shorter. I could probably get some
DLC's pretty long.
Some OP stuff. I mean, I
just did it.
I just smoked it.
Like 30 minutes.
So here's the thing. I'm going to back up and say,
Did you die just so you could see the death mechanics?
I did. I showed myself what it felt like to lose once. Just to check the death mechanic. Cause
is this just low key both of you being like, I'm so good at video games?
No, it's from a Moist Critical stream when Elden Ring came out. He was talking with chat and he's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna no hit run it. I mean, I'll probably die once to check out the death mechanics, but other than that, like,
because it's such a beautiful game, I know they spend a lot of time on what happens when you do perish in the game. So, I did die at least once just to take a look at it because I didn't want to, just bypass that as the god tier gamer that I am.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing: is
Gravy Dave.
That was Diffie.
A little bit of both. So, there's a reason why I like From Software, a different game studio who does Dark Souls and Elden Ring and Sekiro and Armored Core games. They have the balls to put out a video game, and it's as hard as it is. Period. There's no difficulty selector. The game that comes out is as hard as it's going to be. Right there. Plus or minus, if they do like an update or a patch update to, the game to like balance things out or whatever over the course of time. But like the game that you get from the store that you download is that hard. Do it or don't do it. The end. These games are notoriously very, very difficult to overcome. You have to learn, enemy patterns and be very fast with your reflexes. And a lot of the times there's big, what am I trying to say? There's big, like, skill checks. There's hard walls that you come up against. Like it might not be the first boss. You might your playstyle might take out the first couple of bosses, no big deal. But there's going to be something that tests you beyond belief, and it is whenever you do, if you do defeat that boss, that is the greatest feeling. Nothing has ever made me squeal in joy so much as FromSoft games have done for me. So with that in mind, I'm not a huge fan of games with difficulty selectors myself, because
most games
which is most games. I do agree. Even some of my favorite games have difficulty selectors because I just feel like it turns into, like enemies are just bullet sponges at that point, or you have to just waste a ton of damage, and it takes a lot of the quality of the fighting style out of the game, whatever it might be, guns, swords, whatever it is.
A lot of those games are story games, though. FromSoft games are not story games.
You are jumping to the second half of my point.
My bad.
So I'll say it like how I want to say it because it's I own the microphones. Games like that, I'm happy that there's a medium for these stories to be told and to be experienced in a specific way. Would it have the same impact as a miniseries? I don't know. But to me, these games are casual. You're a beta bitch boy if you actually really enjoy these games, is my actual stance. You're too afraid to try other games. Like if you haven't played FromSoft games, to be specific, then you aren't an actual gamer, is my take. And let me back that up. So we remember, do we know who won Game of the Year in 2019?
It was Elden Ring, wasn't it?
Sekiro.
Oh,
okay.
So
wait, when did Elden Ring come out?
Elden Ring was
2022.
22. Okay. Elden Ring was 22. Obviously, it won. 23 was Baldur's Gate 3. 2024, that is December
3.
December 12th. It's not going to be. Well, it is nominated for something. It's not going to win. It's not Game of the Year.
Yeah.
That's going to be Astrobot. Anyway, not
Do
really.
You think? I was like, really?
We should probably look up the Game of the Year awards and talk about that.
Oh, that's
because that's on December 12th, and today is the 4th.
Yeah, that'll be a good segue. Because I want
continue.
You are going to give a review of this game, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
No, I already did. You're a beta boy if you actually like this game. So
still playing it.
So I am still playing it. There's a reason though. So we all remember in 2020 when Ghost of Tsushima came out, it also won Game of the Year, right?
Sure.
It didn't.
No,
it didn't.
It didn't. No,
it didn't deserve it.
Okay.
You know what it did win? Like,
I don't know. Why are you mad?
Best.
We really need Tim in this room.
I know.
You're not going to fit me.
That's the thing. With Tim in this room, there would be shouting. And I am excited to revisit this.
I will revisit this with Tim.
Because just cut this and be like, hey, Tim, just listen to this part real quick.
Just cut in the first and 22 minutes and we're good.
He'll have time to like it.
That's fine. We know, and I mean, I don't. So some things I can never take away from this game. It won Best Art Direction, and I can never take that away from this game. Ever, 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 ever. It's a little masturbatory with every single mission that you end is this, the one that you begin a mission, it does a transition with like a beautiful cut to say the name of the mission. At the end of the mission, it does another beautiful reveal where your horse is waking you up or you're taking a nap with your horse or your horse is nudging you or something. It's some cute moment every single time. It takes too long. Thank you so very much. You did it. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. The game still holds up. It looks beautiful.
Last of Us Part 2 was 2020, by the way.
There you go.
Which nobody's going to beat out that.
So
for that year.
Well, it's just because FromSoft didn't have a game that year. Really
no, but I know you love dick riding Miyazaki, but people waited so long for Last of Us Part 2. Even if it sucked, it would still win something.
Sure. I gotcha.
Also, Miyazaki, not to be confused with Miyazaki of like.
No, there's only one. There's only one.
Miyazaki, yeah.
The one from FromSoft. So no other Miyazaki exists. So here's the thing, like, format wise, combat in the game itself is now, which is what. Let me pause here. What's interesting, the reason why I have Sekiro playing, we have a TV in this room that we usually have something on. I have a video game playing, the excellent 2019 Game of the Year winner, Sekiro,
which I would agree with.
Now, there's not a lot of things that you can do differently. You can swing, you can block, you can parry, and that's about it in this game. Now, there's other...
in Sekiro?
In Sekiro, yes. However, the enemies, your moveset is limited, the enemies' movesets are not. The cool thing about Ghost, or on paper, is you come up against multiple enemy types. The problem with that is that... there's multiple sword stances that you learn throughout the game or throughout the beginning of the game. I don't remember them all, like, you know, like stone, wind, water, and fire, or something like that, or whatever. And the enemy types that you're fighting in intra-battle, inside of a battle, will respond to different stances that you then have to defeat an enemy. Hang on one second, let me switch stances. Okay, so... if you don't do that, then you're doing little to no damage outside of... You can parry them. If you're a parry god, you can just straight up parry them over and over and over again if you need to. But if you just hit them with a normal attack, you're doing little to no damage, and you need to switch it to this enemy. Uh-oh, the one with the shields is coming up. Let me switch over to the one with the shields. Bummer, the next one has a spear. Whoopsie-doopsie, got to switch to the spear one. It's very obnoxious and clunky. Even if you get good at it, it's still clunky. All I want to do is just fight. I just want to fight. I just want to go. I just want to win. Tell your story, please. It's so clunky. That's the part that I really dislike about the combat itself.
I will agree. Switching the stances, I like the idea of switching stances because it keeps you on your toes. The mechanic of switching stances is very annoying, but also at the same time, you know, you use 4 buttons in a FromSoft game. That's it. Which they're still extremely hard games. But to like Ghost, you can play Ghost on easy. You still have to do that to where you switch stances. So that does add a little more complication to it. Some people probably enjoy it. Like, I know a lot of people that don't like FromSoft games. They've gave them a try and they're just not for them. With that being said, I know you're like, you should just kill yourself if you don't like FromSoft because it's the best shit ever. I like FromSoft games, but I don't want to constantly just death grip and sweat while I'm playing a video game.
But why not?
Because I'm not you.
No,
I know you have your towels and your creams and all your, I'm going to readjust my grip, like, and all that. I don't want to because I play games to relax. You're holding one. There you go. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying not everyone wants to be a sweat lord.
I think a stance should be taken where, like, I can appreciate your Swift boat, fucking John Kerry flip-flopping ass stance over there. I'm making a stance is that you're not a gamer if you don't like FromSoft games. Other games are fine, I guess.
Is it because they're hard?
It's because it takes mastery.
Okay.
It takes mastery.
Why don't you play Siege?
I don't want to beat it too fast.
Oh, is that what it is? Why don't you play CSGO?
Same answer.
Because I beat it. I have unlocked everything.
I think
there's nothing wrong with liking games, but you can't shit on somebody because they don't play a certain type of game.
I absolutely will, and I'll never stop.
I know. I will die on this hill.
Man, and we're gonna have the same conversation. Hey, pod listeners out there. Lee and Amber.
Hey, you all do what you like.
Lee and Amber specifically.
Hey, we should get a P.O. box just so.
I'm not paying for that.
It's not that much. I've looked into it.
Well, you pay for it then. Fuck you.
All right.
Actually, yeah.
You sound like the death stare, David. Like, you got me right.
Yeah. that was the daddy get the card look right there.
If we all we got to do is one sponsor, and all they have to do sponsors anybody.
Chris Bailey, done.
And just be like, hey, we just need a P.O. box.
Perfect. For
FromSoft game reviews.
That way, Amber and Lee can send us stuff, and we can give out an address that isn't your address.
We just can't dox them too much. I very recently spoke to one of those two people that we just mentioned, and and I was like, I won't mention you. I'm 100% doing that though.
There's no last names. There's no. Yeah. We got Colorado's a big state.
Oh, god damn it! Now we're narrowing it down.
You said it earlier.
Listeners in Colorado.
There's not the same thing. Anyway,
let's start from the top. Anyway, guys, this is Failing with Style. So that's really it. I wish there were more people who wanted to do better for themselves through the outlook of trying something hard once in their life. And because a lot of people lack the courage. It's a who's going to carry the boat situation, right? David Goggins once said, "Come on, Tyler, you're gonna be fine. Come on, come back."
See, now you're just baiting because Tim's not here. I do actually have I have an opinion.
I'm going to save the Vegas.
He hasn't reviewed the game at all.
No, I know.
I'm going to save the Vegas review for Tim, and we can talk about this topic again.
Yeah,
well.
and
Ghost of Tsushima. It's not FromSoft.
Well, I think ultimately what David's saying is like there is, and I agree with that. I'm a super casual gamer. I just got a PS5 because you gifted me one, and I really appreciate story games. I really like some of my favorite games are the Uncharted games. The gameplay is kind of repetitive. It's kind of like I enjoy it a lot, and it's enough to keep me going. I am not like a collector's person. With that being said, I also don't have a ton of money to spend on games, and so when a story game, it has to deliver really hard, and it better have some time in it, but it better not have too much time to where I'm like, now I'm bored and I'm doing all the same thing. Assassin's Creed for me got to a point where I'm like, those were like, for me when I was buying them, I was like, oh, those are story games.
Yeah, the early ones.
But I don't have the money to like drop $60 on a game and be like, cool. This is why I don't play Call of Duties anymore, because I don't like first person shooters or like the online play of it. And so I'm like, cool, I just spent $60 for 6 hours of a game. Screw that. But I think I'm a specific type of gamer. I think I bet a lot of old school, like 80s, early 90s arcade people, I bet they love FromSoft games.
Yeah, because the whole point of like you got one life.
Yeah, but it's like I think that's, I've never played a FromSoft game, but I do really appreciate the idea of like you hit go and it's go. And it's like, oh yeah. I as a kid, I remember like you put on Mario, I beat the first level. How long did it take me to get past the second? Like, forever. Donkey Kong. These were the old games that was like, you know, some of them had difficulties. I also agree with I hate like when you go from easy to medium and it's the only thing that changes is there's either more enemies or you have to hit them more. Yeah. I hate that. It immediately, I'm like, cool. Now I feel weak. Now that like my character feels boring as hell. Like, I'm not a game designer, obviously.
Which I get with him. That's why you shouldn't be able to adjust the level. I'm not saying everything should be as hard as I'm not FromSoft game.
I'm not saying
you're
David's
saying over here just slightly gritting.
No, I will say, but I do think like some of the best games.
You should have difficulty. You shouldn't be able to burn through shit, in my opinion.
I agree, because otherwise, watch a miniseries, and I think that's fine. There are some of these stories, like I will say, Last of Us, the series, awesome.
Yeah.
But most, like, I liked Fallout, but Fallout wasn't.
I didn't finish it.
There you go. So,
really? So, I liked it. But it's not the game. Like, it didn't hit me like the game hits me.
No, that's they're wildly different for the most part. I mean, do you remember when I started Fallout 3? And I beat the game in 4 hours because I fucked up and went straight to my dad. I was like, this game, I paid $60 for this.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh, you guys, by the way, did you know Lincoln's dead?
Hey.
Spoiler. Sorry, too soon. My bad.
I'm done.
I mean,
I do have the game of the year.
Well, sorry,
let her rip.
What I was going to say, and then I would love to talk about game of the year for however far back. But I think that there are some games that toe that line, and I'm sure the game I'm about to bring up has a difficulty setting that you can select, but I don't remember. I feel like BioShock toes that line really well of story-driven versus like, no, you want to... a game should be challenging. I absolutely agree. A game should be hard, and I really do like the idea. Like, I want to play Sekiro really bad. And that's a thing where I'm like, I want to be a story-driven person. That's why I'm playing a game, but Sekiro is one where I'm like, that looks so cool, and the idea that I'm me personally, I'll put 100 hours in it, and
it has more of a in your face story than the rest of them, because the rest of them all have stories,
right? But it's like, not the
Sekiro has more cutscenes and has It's not just like, I'm a boss, here I am, like, and then you go into a boss battle.
There is, I can respect the idea that Ghost, you cannot skip a cutscene.
You cannot.
But I will say,
I've tried.
That's going to crush replayability, or if somebody like me who's not good at it and I die over and over. I don't know. I'm excited to play this game. Every game when you restart it, the early cutscenes, you're like, get over it. Like, I don't give a fuck. Dude, I just started Baldur's Gate. And I've seen that cinematic, which is so sick, but I've seen it so many times. I started this game up for the first time, so excited, and it starts playing. I'm like, I'm over it. Like, let me make a character. I don't care. Cool. Dragon Riders. The fact that I'm cool. Dragon Riders.
Don't wake me up. Just leave me there dreaming. All right.
Perfect. So that was one thing I was going to bring up.
I don't know what that means.
You were talking. It's from Down by the River, the song.
Don't wake me up.
The one Baldur's Gate. Well, there's a ton of them. Anyway, so Baldur's Gate specifically, the cool thing about the difficulty slider there, because there is one, I will not complain about that one because things change.
It auto adjusts though, doesn't it?
It does not.
I thought it did.
Like, I know that Skyrim has a adaptable.
Yes. Yeah.
Adaptable one. Baldur's Gate does not. They have a story. I know. That's why I'm holding mine. But they have a story, a normal, a tactician, and a honor mode. Each and every one of those, as far as enemies go, it actually changes the AI on all of them, and it has them do different things. They get more legendary actions from D&D 5e. They actually get more ranged attacks. The
CR goes up.
The intellect devourers that you fight right off of the Nautiloid, they get ranged attacks on.
I played that like 3 times. I was like, how is this? This is like quite literally level 2, if even.
Yeah.
And I'm just like getting smoked.
They get ranged attacks, aka they're gonna move up their movement and go like over and over and over again. And you have you and Shadowheart, hopefully, you know. But that's why I really appreciate Baldur's Gate, because outside of that, The only other difference is story mode gives you like around 100 extra HP or so, and you would think that would go a long way. It sure doesn't have to. It sure does not have to. But
No.
like regular normal mode is there are some moments that are insanely difficult, or difficult enough where you really have to think and strategize and think about placement and whatnot.
I was talking to Matt about that last night because
I need to give him a rundown. He wants a
well, the thing is, I was like, Baldur's Gate's one of those games that I think when you start, at least, you didn't join in. I think you helped me through Ethel, and then I just kind of went from there.
No spoilers.
No,
I know. I'm just saying,
that spoils not. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not gonna. Point I'm getting at is you should play solo.
He could say that name, but not too much after that.
Yeah,
that's it though. Anyway, so when you, that's a game you need to play by yourself. Like
I agree.
That now, you need to have two campaigns basically. You play by yourself. If you want to play with friends, you just start a whole separate thing.
Yeah,
it is supplemental to do it multiplayer. Otherwise, if you're in a Discord or in a PlayStation party or whatever, and you're hanging out with your buddies and you're trying to really pay attention, like
everyone needs to shut the fuck up.
It is not going to have the dramatic impact. Also,
not at all.
If you're running with your mates and you don't then have other NPCs who have actual storylines in here, then you're going to miss those things.
Yeah,
you're going to miss those important moments.
Shitload of it.
Exactly.
And well, I was also, I was talking to Matt. I was like, "What are you playing?" Because he's never played D&D. He has nothing.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'm playing a sorcerer," and I was like, "That's a rough class to start with with zero knowledge of how D&D works or how the game works."
Because I almost picked a sorcerer.
You also have been playing D&D for years.
Your background automatically makes it like
it's more so the idea of like kind of how like Eli plays D&D with us, like a Skyrim game almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To where it's like when Brandon started, he's like, "Oh, I'm a healer." I'm like, "Well, don't use it. We don't need it." He's like, "But you're low in health." I'm like, "You only have so many spell slots.
Oh yeah.
You can only do it so many times."
Yeah.
Like. And he's like, "Well, I'm like, shut the fuck up, because I know what I'm talking about."
You gotta trust me on this one. You got to trust me.
He's a sorcerer healer. Ugh.
No.
No.
Brandon's a cleric, I think.
Yeah, he had healing spells.
And, he had like lay on hands or something. I don't know. But we're in the middle.
That's a paladin. Cure wounds is a touch spell.
Anyway,
dude, I'm happy. Let's talk about my game.
Shout out to fucking nerds.
Point being, while I was corrected,
said he was gonna.
I don't care. Okay, that's fine.
What's Daddy Elon gonna do for us?
Apparently, he said something about buying
Wizards.
Yeah, which is the first time I was like,
that's short for Wizards of the Coast,
owned by Hasbro, and I don't know. Anyways, but I just went like,
not to be confused with Coast to Coast.
AM.
Mm-hmm.
That little ASMR of Tyler.
We went,
drinking.
Sorry. Anyway, off topic. Sorry, you were saying.
I don't remember.
My bad.
Hell yeah! Welcome back to the I don't remember podcast.
That's what it was. Me, it was Matt. It was the whole thing. I was like, play through it solo. I was like, it's also one of those games like, if you want to play, you can't play for like 20 minutes. Like I know I did it the other night, and I was just, but I think I got on for 10 minutes and even realized I was like, no, I need to stop playing because I'm gonna end up going to bed on a Tuesday at 4 a.m.
Also, don't play it drunk.
No,
I played for an hour the other night, hammered. And I was like, this is gonna be great.
That's awful.
And I got stuck somewhere, and like literally everything I did, I was like, well, back up to the last save. My entire party was totally separated. I could not find. I jumped somewhere because you were like, oh yeah, you'll start jumping, and then like got to a place, couldn't find the path. The map is confusing to me, but I think that's a me problem.
You get used to it.
The map in Helldivers is nightmarish for me. I cannot
follow the waypoint.
I follow you all. I can't follow a waypoint.
The map in Helldivers is topographical and it is hard to navigate. Yes. It's every map is procedurally generated, so every single time we dive onto a planet or map, if you will, it is different from the last one. Even if we dive to the same planet 3 different times, 3 different maps every single time, because we're technically doing missions at a different spot to the non-gamers listening. The thing that I cannot wait for you guys to get deeper into Baldur's Gate. Like it's just because it does something that no other game has that I have witnessed. I'm kind of in like a gamer phase. We've talked about this before, where I don't have children. I have a lot of like free time outside of like random work travel or whatever. But Baldur's Gate's writing that it does for its characters, it does something that is totally different than any other.
But not even the main or side characters, even though just the one-offs, like that you're like, oh, okay, I met him in a camp, and then you see him 15 hours down.
I'm sorry. Well, this is a D&D thing. I got very excited. Mm-hmm. I hope this isn't spoilers for anybody, but walked into an area. I was like, no, that guy looks weird. Shouldn't be here. And talked to him, and it was Volo. And I was like, oh,
I'm happy that.
Do you know who Volo is?
Yeah.
So, like, I have Volo, a hard copy of Volo's Guide to Monsters, and so he's immediately like, oh, like, something about a dragon. I'm like, there's no dragon. And he was like, oh, well, every good story is better with a dragon. And I was like, this is great. That was a very D&D nerd.
Yes.
And then he went, it's not hard to do a Scottish accent.
It's not hard to do a Scottish accent.
There's little things like that, but what I mean to say is
it works.
For the origin characters specifically, all of the origin characters in that game have some kind of arc that occurs. And for most of them,
I thought those fell off your head. I'm sorry.
No, they flip around. They're really weird.
Dude, I was about to be like, hey, dude, you have to stop drinking. You're so drunk your headphones fell off.
We're talking about the headphones now, people.
In the chair.
What's funny about the headphones is they were crazy cheap, but
they're great.
They sound bananas good, bonkers good for the quality that the plastic shit is.
If they had a mic, I'd use them to game.
Dead serious. I mean, like, if you notice, I think both sides have holes. I can plug in either port on either side.
Hole, please.
No, not like that. Not like that. The other one is a quarter inch. The other's a 1/4 inch plug.
Jesus.
And the other's like a 1/2 inch or whatever the big boys are. Watch there be some huge feedback.
I just like you, not like that. As soon as he unplugged it, and he just kept going for it.
Like, I didn't understand what he was saying.
I guess I could have pulled this.
Demoed it.
I could have demoed by doing this. Oh, fuck me. This can go also in here like that. Like
a different size. Yeah. Sorry. Because I was like, oh, that'd be perfect.
This really works for a audio medium.
It sure does. Yeah.
Man, it's so funny what's happening in the room that you can't see. Rafflecopter.
All right, so edit all this out. You got Game of the Year.
I do.
I don't know if we should do that, though, because like I've played several of those, but like...
You've played 3 of them.
All right, okay, hold on. Let's take a bet.
There's
how many? There's 6 Games of the Year
nominees.
Oh, of this year.
Yeah, it has
not happened yet. 2024.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It's on December 12th or 14th or something like that.
You've played 3. I bet I've played none.
You haven't.
Correct.
Have you played any?
No.
What do you want to know about
Let's give predictions.
Actually, I do really want to play Elden Ring, but I want to finish Baldur's Gate.
Would it be fun to go down the list, give a quick synopsis of whatever is online of each game, and then we make predictions of who's going to win Game of the Year?
Absolutely. Let's rip it.
Sure.
I guess we're a gaming podcast.
Yeah, I mean, and
I'm in.
In the meantime, here's Dave's synopsis of a local brewery. So, while Tyler's pulling up any other information. So here's the thing.
Yeah, whenever you're done, I'm ready.
That's cool.
Put a little soundbite or music. Do 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 do.
You all also have phones, terrible. So you can pull this up.
That was the music that we just had.
She's the one person.
Mile wide. Been in there. Not a mile wide. Game of the Year. Here we go.
Banger. All right.
I was like, I mean, I can explain, but it does not feel like
nope. This is the part where Ted's like, Jesus Christ, you guys. like the format.
There's your headphone smash, a game controller smashes. That's what my topic was. Rage gaming, anyway.
It was. Oh, yeah.
Rage gaming. But, whatever. Here we go. So, Metaphor is the first one.
Love that game.
Do you want to read a synopsis of that, or you want me to? I'm sorry.
I had
Well, you said something about you all have phones, so I was going to try and help.
Well, do the next one. The list is... David can do Elden Ring for sure. Like, will be your hours. Anyway.
No, he can't do Elden Ring.
Then you do Elden Ring, and he can do Final Fantasy. All right, so, metaphor. The game is set in the United Kingdom of Urona, a medieval fantasy realm mirroring the contemporary real world after the assassination of its former king. Years earlier, an assassination attempt on the prince resulted in him being cursed and falling into a long slumber. The protagonist, Will, an orphan boy of magic-wielding Elda tribe and the prince's childhood friend, participates in the royal tournament held to decide the throne's successor, journeying across Euronica, whatever, to rally support from its people while searching for a way to lift the curse. Not gonna lie, not for me.
I mean, I'd have to see it.
It's mostly the art style. I don't like the manga style Max Payne comic book. I like the comic book Max Payne, but I don't like the manga style of like the freeze frame and then.
What was that game way back in the day?
13?
Yeah. I love that.
Did I nail it?
Yeah. I love
No one's done a game like that, though. Like,
that was cool.
The game was hard as fuck. All right, who's next?
I can go, or I'll go. All right.
So anyway, no, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree. A land of shadow, a place obscured the Erd Tree, where the goddess Marika first set foot, a land purged in unsung battle, set ablaze by Mesmer's flame. It was It was to this land Miquela departed. Miquela?
Marika.
Miquela. That's America.
Sure about that?
Miquela's.
He pronounced it wrong second.
It was to this land that Miquela departed. Miquela? Divesting himself of his flesh. All right, on. Shadow of the Erd Tree is a fully fledged expansion of Elden Ring that adds a whole new map with 70 new weapons, 10 new shields, 39 new talismans, 14 new sorceries, 28 new incantations, 20 new spirit ashes, 25 new ashes of war. I've never played this game. This is a lot. 30 new armor sets and new consumables and craftables. The expansion was announced via Twitter by the official Elden Ring account on February 28th of 23. A gameplay trailer released the 21st of the same month a year later in 24, and the story trailer followed May 21st, 2024. The release date of the DLC, and that's just the first paragraph of the wiki.
Yep.
So an expansion of an already existing game of the year that has added...
You've already said it. I'm really happy you mentioned that. There's some controversy, if you will, that a DLC is listed as game of the year is a DLC.
Yeah.
There's at least, some on people, it's the internet.
Redditors losing their minds.
Imagine that. I mean,
let's get through the nominees and then...
Sure. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That is a 2024 action role-playing game developed and published by Square Enix. The game is a sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake. So they made a remake, then they do a rebirth. The second in a planned trilogy of games remaking the 1997 PlayStation game Final Fantasy VII. So they had Final Fantasy VII in 1997, made a remake, did a rebirth, and the rebirth is Game of the Year, or nominated as Game of the Year. I'm not going to read anything past that just because it's going to get really long.
Yeah. Also, Final Fantasy VII. I think, you know what? I'm calling it now. We're a low-key gaming podcast.
Yeah,
I think that makes sense.
We talk about it a lot.
Social gaming podcast, yeah. We can have, offshoots. So if you're listening to a gaming podcast and you haven't played Final Fantasy VII, or at least are aware of it.
Yeah, I've never played it.
But you know what it is. You absolutely know what it is. I'm leaving.
Yeah, I do.
Fan?
I was like, come on, dude, I've watched you play that game.
What else?
I played 8.
We played 7 at Aunt Jeannie's.
Nope, we played 8 at Aunt Jeannie's.
I'm done.
I'll put money on
I'm
it.
out.
What else you got?
Okay, prove it.
We're in the weeds.
Because it has that theme song that's the...
That's not proof. Go.
Got it. All right. Balatro.
I was going to do that one. This game is
It's a poker-themed roguelike deck-building video game developed by Local Thunk. That's about it. There's really no other information other than I can explain how you build your deck. That's it.
Alex, what's...
That's nuts. Because I was like, oh, well.
Uno.
I was like...
Uno
I was like, I've never heard
Uno
of this.
remastered.
Yeah. Uno the roguelike. Yeah.
All right. Black Myth Wukong is a 2024 action role-playing game developed and published by Game Science. The game is based on the Chinese novel Journey to the West and follows a monkey character based on Sun Wukong from a novel. The novel.
Yeah.
It's from some novel.
From
According to Polygon, the game has an intricate, original, and thought-provoking narrative. Epic Games says that it involves exploring a land of wonders, confronting enemies, and mastering spells. I think that was AI. Yeah, that was Google AI that I just read.
Thank you, Google AI. We really appreciate you, Gemini. Wink. The last one is Astrobot. Astrobot is Sony's attempt at making a Mario, is what it is. It is a full-on platformer with different worlds.
Off book. Not even like, no, I got this.
I have platinumed that game. I didn't plat the other ones, but
I thought you were going to say I platinumed that game. I didn't, but you can imagine.
But no, Astrobot. Okay, so we have Black Myth Wukong, Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Balatro, Mephistopheles is the other one, and
Metaphor?
Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree. Out of those things, I mean, so like Alex is going to be like a gut reaction because I've played a couple of these. I guess Tyler might be more plugged in. I don't know.
I mean, I've watched a lot of gameplay and read about a lot of them. I think Black Myth should win. Honestly,
Okay.
I think
Versus what will win.
I think Final Fantasy's gonna win. There are so many old school Final Fantasy nerds out there too. I think Final Fantasy will win.
I really hope not, but
I don't think.
I hope Black Myth wins. Also, that's their first game.
I don't know how much politics are in this. Like, to be perfectly honest, because like,
are you talking about like politics, or like game, or like
maybe a little bit of both, but mostly gaming politics. But like the idea, so Japan is a powerhouse of gaming, right? Like we're all playing on PlayStation. Even Tim, I don't know. You don't have an Xbox, do you, David?
No.
Do you? Nope. So yeah, so Tim does. So you know, Nintendo. We go on and on. The what was it? The Wukong? That's Chinese. Right? That's a Chinese game.
Is a Chinese producer? Yes.
So like it would be. So yeah, that's my question of like how much politics as far as like not only I don't know about global politics, and I'm not gonna.
Wukong wasn't even a AAA game either.
No.
Really?
Correct.
So I mean, I could see a cool, huge upset. I don't know who does Game of the Year. Who like
now Elden Ring. Elden Ring's awesome, but at the same time, I think
the DLC thing
Wukong was some. Of course, that company took what FromSoft has created, that style of gaming, of just like, in your face, gonna be hard. You need to learn the mechanics because there's no going back. But from what I've seen of the game, it is so wildly different. Like it plays like a FromSoft game to the extent of it's hard as shit, and you need to learn. Like you will have a boss fight to where you have bad RNG and you're roasted.
RNG,
random number generator is what that stands for technically.
Got it.
But
guys, sorry. I think this is going to work as a podcast because like I'm the everyman who's like, oh, I don't know. Explain this to me.
RNG is. It's like saying RGB, like RGB lights, red, green, blue lights. So some people will say RNG just as a sense of luck, but it stems from random number generator.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, as in,
Just like I taught
there can't be
one of our listeners
game.
recently about nucleation points in the microwave. It doesn't matter.
as in like
That I can speak.
every boss has a certain move they can do, and if you get a good RNG, like that's how a lot of people will do no hit runs and things like that.
So is it it's a turn based, or this is just like this is a software thing?
It's randomly generated.
It is it is not randomly generated. It is Souls like so recently earlier.
No, not Wukong. I meant Souls games are.
There is some like kind of, but like you cannot predict the boss's like specific literal moveset that you just have to play whatever they're bringing onto you while being aggressive against them.
Yeah, but I mean that's also what I mean. Like you get a bad RNG, like to the point there.
You could
to the point there. I've definitely done some.
You can in Armored Core. I will say Armored Core.
I've done some Sekiro fights to where like the first 7 times I did it, I'm just getting fucked. Yeah. And then that 8th time, I'm like, that was incredibly easy.
I would love it if
Lady Butterfly.
I would love it if Wukong. You should play. I mean, Sekiro is tight. And once we say the words to you, we'll get back to game of the year. But like, once we say to you and you play it for a little bit and say it's a rhythm game, that's all it is. Mm-hmm. Once you hear that and do that,
I've been interested in Sekiro.
I promise you, it will. There's a moment in Sekiro where it clicks. You go, oh. Okay, it's just block swing and move. It's just
But you have
to dance.
But you have to get to that point though. Like
I'm about to text our group and be like, "Hey Tim, guess what? We're a gaming podcast now."
Yeah, I mean,
I've said it too many times, but
Sekiro is very different.
I'm going to try to play a game in between a new game to me. Between ever
start to finish?
No.
Oh, just try something. I was like, good luck.
No, just try something so I can.
It is hard for me to nail down back to game of the year. It's hard for me to really nail down my feelings. I don't. Balatrio or that one and the other one, Mephistopheles or whatever the fuck.
Metaphor.
That one. I can't speak to those games whatsoever. I have no clue.
A card game should not win game of the year.
Final Fantasy,
but knowing nothing,
huge following, huge. Just library, just this encyclopedic amount of games.
Also, 7 is like highly regarded, especially for like our age. None of us had PlayStations growing up.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I mean, granted, I just went on a big rant about play FromSoft games or you're a wimp or whatever. But I would love it to be Shadow of the Erdtree. We in our real lives. You've heard at least I like the music from it. Therefore, we've heard a lot of it in D&D games in the last year or so. Shadow of the Erdtree, I don't know. Transformative? No, me personally, it's down to Wukong and Astrobot. No joke. Astrobot is. I really wish it wasn't $60, like 50 or 60 bucks.
I was very excited to play it, and I was going to get it, and I was like, ugh.
It is so much goddamn fun. It is so much mindless fun. However, there are some levels in that game that are crazy difficult. The timing, the execution, but I got my thing out of it. There's no difficulty slider on it, and I get to just execute the game and master the movement. Yeah. And whenever there's some levels in there that I screamed. I literally screamed in joy when I finally beat it. I'm not much of a rage gamer myself, so I don't like rage or throw my controllers and stuff like that because everything's really expensive. Exactly, so Wukong was like a FromSoft game, but a little bit lighter. A little bit light, like the tonality of the characters is more light. It's like not sing-songy or anything specific like that, but like Wukong is a fucking gas. It is so much fun. It is hard as balls. It's hard. It's really, really, really hard, but it's beautiful. It's really pretty. I cannot recommend that game enough. Same thing with Astrobot. Erdtree is oddly enough, Erdtree is the only one because the difficulty spike in that game is just damn right unfair sometimes. It is so is so difficult. It's that one's hard for me to like even recommend, even as like, oh, this is great. Like the scenery and everything is great. I still like Wukong better myself personally.
I was gonna say, but it's also a DLC, and I feel like they did a DLC how it should be done. You can't just dive in. Like you need to put time in the actual game before you just pick up a DLC and play it.
Also, what kept this just from being a sequel?
Well, I mean, so
time.
What's their time jump? 3 years?
No, it came out in Elden Ring came out in 22, 21, 20, no,
2 years.
20. So yeah, Elden Ring came out in 22, and this came out in 24. Yes. And so what they did was, people have been playing on your big open world game for the last 2 straight years. How in the world are you going to make it fair or fun for gamers? Like your players just can't steamroll your DLC. How are you going to do that? So they have 2 different level up mechanisms in Erd Tree that it's not like you start from 0, because you could still like be absolutely max level. You will have a slightly easier time in the very beginning if you were like max level. Max level is like 600 or something like that. Like no one's ever gonna do it. Like no one without like exploits is ever. Yeah, no reasonable person is ever gonna do that.
No, that one dude did max gold or max souls. That's what it was.
Right. So you travel into the world. You get through it because we've heard Moog, Lord of Blood from the base game. We hear a lot of his music in our D&D campaign. So like the story of it really stems around Moog, basically.
The DLC?
The DLC. Okay. Moog, Lord of Blood. I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah.
I've got it like a little bit.
We'll get there. We'll polish it. Also, Tim, listener, not hers, but listener, Tim agreed. So we're a gaming podcast now.
Did he? Did he actually?
Yeah.
I just said cool.
Oh,
that's agreeing. He put an emoji.
What a loser. What a loser. Anyway, so cut to the chase, really. Mine is, it's hard for me to say. If I really had like gun to my head who I think is going to win, I think Shadow of the Erd Tree is going to win. If I really had to put a just absolute gun to my head, who I want to win, it's hard for me to say between Astrobot, that is, Wukong, and Erd Tree. I won't even put in Erd Tree. Like, I don't even care, because like FromSoft always wins because they always put so much effort. I like that. Thank you so much. Great games.
With all those though, there are so many different stipulations with it, because like FromSoft, Elden Ring alone, like I know a lot of people that love Elden Ring hate all FromSoft games. Like it
is the most approachable one. I think so.
So that brings a huge community. Astrobot brings a big one for like families and stuff and kids and all that. So that's another one.
It's so cute.
Final Fantasy is the old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you got, like
people who are interested in
card games. Like
but like people
I think that's who's gonna win.
Say what?
I think what
Baltria or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Baltaria.
That or my number 1 and number 2, and they can be interchangeable, are going to be that and
Turtles in Time.
Metaphor.
Perfect. Yeah, we have the spread perfectly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I don't even remember if it's literally like, if it's one of those things of like we can vote as the community, but it goes out to a committee that actually selects it. I don't know. Yeah. I truly don't know. I haven't looked into it that much. It's just the last time I really got into the Game Awards was when Baldur's Gate, I like had it streaming on my phone.
Oh, wow.
And I like was in bed, and I literally fist pumped a little bit in bed when Baldur's Gate 3 won. I watched that one live, and they won so many awards for that game.
They almost cleared the board.
Damn near. Outside of like most impactful indie game.
Yeah.
Not them.
Yeah, most Japanese game.
Yeah. Best sushi game. Not that one.
They basically like how the Oscars, like, you always got the, well, not always, but there's throughout the years the one movie that wins like 7 Oscars.
Titanic goes, and you're like, Jesus.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, whatever.
Yeah.
It was
Shallow Hal. Yeah.
Jesus.
Miko Black.
Yeah, Flubber gets up there and just shreds Nog. But I mean, truly, for you at least, like I also want you to play as many games as possible. Whatever, like you know, like there's other things in life.
I'm gonna go through free games first.
I will say, Baldur's Gate 3 alone. By the way, if you ever wanted to get into games, anyone out there, Baldur's Gate 3. Look no further. Like, unless it really doesn't click with you for some reason, but
I will say I think I'm weird about turn-based games. I love this one. I play D&D. So it makes I feel like
but it feels different because
it does. It really it does feel
normal
different.
turn-based are that side goes, your side goes. That side goes, your side goes.
Well, I think honestly, I don't know if I can think of a turn-based game where movement was really involved. It's usually like you go, and it's like, oh, we started a fight, and then it like Pokemon. It's like your turn, my turn. But I think just being able to be like, I'm gonna move, or like having run as an option, at least in a lot of like old school RPG games, was a thing. But like it's quite literally, I had a combat where it's like, I'm just gonna move as far into the room I'm in because everyone else was in another room and just drew them out and was like, cool, now I can pick them off.
You can flee combat. You can disengage fully.
Right. But what I mean is that like but you can move within combat without having to just flee.
Yeah.
Like there's versus where other RPGs that I have played that are turn based at least when like fleeing is an option, but moving is not. You are fighting, or you are trying to run away. But there is no like no. I'm trying to get elevation.
You don't even have to attack. I mean,
I know.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. So like, I've pushed people off cliffs because like they're fucking me up with like being a sorcerer and like rallying people and shit. And I'm like, I'm just gonna use Karlach and I'm gonna push you until you are in the abyss.
As a IRL D&D person and came from that. I was a little nervous being like, I don't know how this is going to translate. And I think it does
very well.
Yeah. And it's a thing where I'm like, I wish it had every option from the player's handbook or all the, but then at the same time, I'm like, I sat and thought about what class am I going to play for 2 days. And I'm still, a few hours into this game and I'm like, did I make the right choice?
I think you can reclass.
Yeah, but I also don't want to do that. Yeah. I want to like play it, be done, and be like, I guess we got to start over.
I wish I knew about D&D back in the day when Andy and I played Baldur's Gate 2.
What year was that?
I was in middle school. That was a long time ago.
So that's
20 years almost.
D&D is different.
I get that, but at the same time, I was like, this is point and click. I hate it.
But I'm saying like D&D has become super popular in the past 10, 15 years because 5th edition is so not nerdy number crunchy comparatively to past editions, which it like makes more sense for. I've never played the other Baldur's Gate games, so I have no idea how they play.
I mean, by definition, because they're not FromSoft games, we're all bitch made because of it.
You said beta, not bitch.
Well, I mean, so tomato potato. The end.
I'm waiting. Okay.
What's your predictions for Game of the Year?
I think it's gonna be Final Fantasy.
So Final Fantasy.
Mine's Erdtree.
And then,
even though I kind of don't want it to be,
I genuinely
don't want. I would love to be Wukong.
I think it's going to be Astrobot or one of the two games that. I mean, I haven't played any of them, but
I won't say gun to your head for you because it's like you just
I'm completely.
You don't know.
I know.
These are just like you're taking like. Our opinion and just the word. You're like looking at wine bottles going, I wonder if this one's good or not.
Yeah. Honestly, it is like, what have I heard of?
Yeah.
Like what I haven't played. I knew the first rendition of Final Fantasy VII came out because T-Mart played it. I haven't heard anything about the second one. And when that was on this list, I was like, oh yeah, forgot about that.
What do we have to cover with Tim next time?
So next time, I think has to be Tim's reaction to the Ghost of Tsushima.
Review
Tim's review of our review of David's review.
His reaction.
That's a perfect tee up, actually, because we joked about reviewing each other's reviews. I mean, hell, there's my David Platinum the game.
I'll play a new game between.
You're still playing it,
or I can talk about a game that we either haven't talked about or like something because I just am kind of getting back in.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about next week. Well, not next week. Next podcast, my topic was rage gaming.
Yeah. I think that's good.
I mean, next time I'll be able to review 2 cities because I'm going to Orlando from Sunday to Wednesday.
And then
we'll have D&D, and then we might have a podcast. Well, actually, don't. Podcast might be in the new year at that point. But
that'd be, yeah. I mean, if we have to start the new year with
hey,
we have direction.
What's funny about that? So we should I hope we do one before the new year because the question was posed to me about what am I going to do in 2025 to make the world a better place, and my response to this person was start or stop killing homeless people. I don't know which one's better. You know. They laughed like, oh, geez, Louise, Dave, you're such a goof, and I'm like,
just stone cold. Like,
which one's better? I'm like, what do you mean? Which one is better, though? Tell me, please.
I mean, the next podcast will be the 26th of December.
I'm down.
I have nothing going on.
Actually,
I literally have nothing going on. Yeah, I mean, I have to work, but
dude, like for real,
you probably have 1,000 run-in parties to go to.
Oh,
last name dropped.
Run-in?
I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
Williamson, my
I'm
bad.
joking. Thank you. 1,000 Williamson parties. All right. Well, I mean, we can.
We'll talk. We'll talk off mic.
We can wrap this one. So, thanks for coming to this. The remix edition of Failing with Style. Your Spotify spotlight.
Oh my God, just close it.
Yeah, this is the closer. I'm the closer. I'm doing a great job. This is where we get a bunch of notes from Tim, like the format, guys. It's just you don't know the.
I think we just figured it out though.
What?
We just needed to get rid of Tim.
Oh, fuck him. Anyway, so thanks for coming back to episode 2 or 3, depending on your nomenclature of Failing with Style. It's a beautiful Thursday, and I think it's 2 or 3.
No, we had 0, 1, 2, so it'd be 3 or 4.
No, we'll never know.
I mean, it's on Spotify. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Scrapped it all.
Is there a thumbnail or a title card?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it good?
No,
it's AI generated.
Nope.
Oh my God.
We got to get out of here, boys. But happy Thursday, and we'll talk to you soon, all right?